Hello, my name is Jeff. This is Castle Tillage, your home defense network. Uh, there's two main comments that I've been getting a lot, and I've been getting them for as long as I've been doing self-defense videos. Again, what I do is I want to help people understand the law in simple terms and make it worry-free that they can get through a self-defense event and come out of it on the other end. Okay. Now, we've been doing a lot of proportional force and how people don't understand proportional force and immediate threat. And when they do this, I'll make comments on the legal way to do it, on the total safe legal way to do it: innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. You need up to all 5 of those to have a successful self-defense. Yes, let's not get caught in the weeds. Some are excluded in whole and part in certain specific situations. But if you stay honest to yourself, innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness, you more than likely are going to have a successful self-defense, life and death event. Now, this is the comment right here, Rich C right here. And this is just common. I think all of this is confusing, something that should be very simple. If your life is in danger, do whatever you need to do in order to live another day. You will not have time to consider the legal law ramifications of your actions. I would rather be alive defending my actions in court than dead. First of all, this is a common fallacy. The fallacy is that if you follow innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness, you will die. That's not true. It's just innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness actually gives you a good guideline on your self-defense. It tells you exactly what to do. And, you know, I think you should do whatever to survive the event. However, are you standing over the person has clearly given up, maybe a broken leg, a broken arm, can't walk, and you stand over him like Clint Eastwood, point your .44 Magnum at him, and put one more bullet in the head? Is that doing everything that you can, like, where is it? Do whatever you need to do in order to live another day? Is that part of your narrative? How is that going to help you for spending the rest of your life in jail? Now, let's go over the confusion a little bit. People think that this is too much. Innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. Well, let's go over innocence. You're going to know if you're the innocent party. You're going to know if you're a willing participant. You don't have to physically go through the mental process of saying, okay, am I the innocent party in this situation? So that is no thought whatsoever. Imminent. Are you an immediate threat of death or great bodily harm? Now! Is it right now? Is it going to happen sometime in the future? Is it going to be happening now? Personally, me, if someone's pointing a gun at me 5 feet away, I am an immediate threat of death or great bodily harm. Granted, some people are going to say, well, it's too late at that point. Yeah, you're probably right. But I'm not going to have to go through the legal ramifications and try to justify if I am an immediate threat of death or great bodily harm. Proportional force. There's only 2 things with proportionality. Is it ordinary force that the person's coming after you with, or is it deadly force? I think most people can recognize a deadly threat at that point, on the here and now. If your brain needs to go through the mental gymnastics to figure out if this is ordinary force or deadly force, I think you're behind the power curve anyway. Next one, avoidance. Yes, there's going to be a little bit more of an intellectual kind of thing where you're going to have to try to figure things out. But avoidance is something, if you have time to consider avoidance, you are not in immediate threat of death or great bodily harm. If you can go somewhere, shut the door, you're not in immediate threat. Now, there's going to be some other kind of variables with that, and your brain may get bogged down by it. But if you intellectually look at avoidance, If you can do it, you are not in immediate threat of death or great bodily harm. Reasonableness. You must be subjectively and objectively reasonable. Is your actions reasonable? Well, if you are neurotic, if you believe that if the guy is down on his back, you can put a 44 Magnum in his cranium, that's not reasonable. So when people say, oh, this is too confusing, I gotta learn all this stuff. No, you don't. Innocence, you're gonna know right away. Immediate threat of death or great bodily harm, you're gonna know right away. Proportional force, is it ordinary force or deadly force? You're gonna know right away. You should know right away. Avoidance, if you have the opportunity to think about avoidance, you are not an immediate threat. And reasonableness. This is very easy. This isn't some mental gymnastics flowchart they have to get through. The people have been with me for a while. The people that have seen the videos in the past 2 months, we've talked about the weeds. We've talked about the castle doctrine. The castle doctrine is going to get you into the weeds. But if you, what else is there? The Make My Day Law of Colorado. The presumption of reasonableness. The presumption of innocence. Also, there is an exclusion for proportionality. Those are all exceptions, but I want to get this in your head. When you are in the immediate threat of death or great bodily harm and you're going through a life and death situation, if you incorporate innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness, but you're in a situation that will eliminate one of those in whole and in part, you are well ahead of the power curve. This is another comment that that's pretty common. Proportionality. A threat is what you perceive. Not really. A threat is what you know. Okay? Would you perceive, because you have to have reasonableness behind this perception. If you believe that a 3-month-old toddler with a rattler in his hand, rattling it back, and it throws at you and hits you in the face is deadly force, you're not reasonable. So what you perceive is irrelevant. And then he goes on to say, not what someone after the fact perceives. Absolutely. You are going to be judged after the fact about proportionality. Did you use too much force? There was a Houston officer that just quit his job because he beat a big black man on the rail. It was a black officer beating a huge black man with an extendable club. And let's go. I think I have the video here. Let's go watch the video a little bit. He's a big dude, man. Big dude. You know, can we skip up a little bit? He takes out his, I forgot what that asp. See the asp in his hands, and he's still doing it now. He's going to come up. He's going to come up, and he's going to have a very threatening manner. Here he goes. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And then I think the other officer has a taser, and he basically said, hey, he touched the other officer's and I don't, where's his hands? I don't know. I'm not, I don't know. But when does proportional force become too much? And, I'm not in that field. These guys need to come home every single day. When did his proportional force with that ass became too much? Because this guy right here, it's my understanding, is he resigned from the Houston Police Department. If he resigned, the union or his lawyers were probably saying, hey, this is probably something that you're going to have an issue with, and you may want to just resign. Okay, that is proportional force. When does too much force become? Yeah, I just thought of something. When does proportional force become too much? See where it is right here? Maybe this is where it is. Right now, his attacker is going to be coming out. Maybe this is ordinary force. Boom. He went for the head. Was that deadly force? I don't know. I haven't read anything on that. This is just something that I'm talking from the side of my mouth. Maybe that's where proportional force was too much, where he was using an asp on his head. You know, it obviously hit him. He spun around. Let's do that again. Kicks him in the toe. Went for the head. I don't know. Where was proportional force? I mean, he resigned. Whatever you want to say about my commentary with that, he resigned. There's something called mens rea. If he believes he's guilty, you are guilty, and if you have a guilty mind, you are guilty. Okay, that's where proportional force, that and who is going to decide. It's just not going to be you. It's not going to be your subjectively reasonable person, but it's also going to be judged objectively by the prosecutor, by the jury, by whoever makes those types of decisions. That's what you need to take a look at. This sentence right here just irks me to all. It just is so ignorant in so many different ways. I would rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Again, this is the assumption, is if you don't follow the law, you will die. And again, if you're using too much proportional force, like that officer did, I don't see anywhere where he was about to die. It's just he was using too much force. So by definition, it's just completely wrong. Again, the juries of today, like Rosa Parks, I think she was a great American. If I was on the jury of Rosa Parks' crime, of her sitting in front of the bus, I would say, it's just not happening. I am not going to convict Rosa Parks from sitting in the front of the bus because the law is unjust. In today's legal framework, juries can't do that. The only thing the jury can do is say if you broke the law or not. A long time ago, in the early 90s, Minnesota had a law, had an adultery law, and it described adultery as a married woman having cardinal knowledge with a man. Isn't that funny? It's not a married man having cardinal knowledge with a woman. It is a married woman having cardinal knowledge with a man. If I was on the jury and someone actually brought a case against a woman for having sex with a married woman having sex with a man and charging her with adultery, I have a hard time saying, yes, you broke the law and I'm going to send you to jail for that. I don't condone it. It's just the way it is. So these are the two common phrases of, rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. That's a fallacy. You need to have the concept of innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. Again, I'm just going to go over this again real quick. You are going to know if you're the innocent party. You're going to know if you're a willing participant who wants to keep on going after the fight. You are going to know if you're an immediate threat of death or great bodily harm. Right now! It's right now. It's not sometime in the future. It's not sometime in the past. It is right now. Proportional force. There's only two proportional forces. Ordinary force and lethal force. You are going to know instantly if you are going to be attacked with deadly force or not. Avoidance. I talk about avoidance a lot. It should be done at every cost, okay? If you have the ability to consider avoidance, you are not an immediate threat, okay? And reasonableness. You need to be subjectively and objectively reasonable. If you do certain actions that are just wacky, okay, you are probably far behind the power curve in knowing what the law is anyway. So Again, thinking people. Innocence, imminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. You need up to all 5 of those to have a self-defense scenario. If you stay way across of the envelope on the legal side of things, things are going to be looking for you. Your narrative in the courtroom is going to go so much farther than someone saying I'd rather be carried by 6 than 12. And where's this other one? If your life is in danger, do whatever you need in order to live another day. Okay, that's the simplest thing I can do. Don't get caught in the weeds with the people who say those two most common fallacies in my video series. My name is Jeff. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I hope this helped.